welcome back to Duran ASEAN with Gowri and Arlene still. We're moving on to our ABC dialogue today. Hi, Arlene.
Hey, Gowri.
So we have Infiltrate in the house today, who are hard alternative rockers. So let's say hi to them. Hi, guys.
Hello, thanks for having us.
Okay, you want to tell us who's doing what, who's doing who? Sorry, not who's doing who, just
the introduction of who you are.
Sure. So, I'm Pervin and I sing and also play the rhythm guitars.
My name is Ran. I play the lead guitar and I do backup vocals.
Okay, so let's start with the most obvious question, which is why the name Infiltrate? What's behind the name?
Well, okay, initially, we started off in mid 2004, towards the end of 2004. Mm-hmm. So initially, our band name was Infiltrated.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was that for many years. Yeah, all the way up to maybe about 2007. I guess 2007, and it changed to Infiltrate.
So from past tense to present
Yes.
tense.
Yeah, totally. Yes, I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, because we did not really. I don't think we chose the name. It was our previous singer, because I was not really the singer when I started off with this. I was just guitaring. So I don't know. He had this weird idea of having the band name Infiltrated. So we just went with it. And not the most original title, but you Google that out, you get articles on the
tell
wall.
Me about it. I had a
So
hard time trying to find you guys on YouTube, because when I typed Infiltrate, there were like so many other songs and bands that came out.
Yes. I mean, like, it's always the hindsight thing. If we could go back, probably would change. But no, I think we're just comfortable.
Everybody knows
Okay.
us.
Yeah, so
if we try to change it now, we're like,
doesn't make
call
sense.
us the old band name.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, you have another one band member who's
Steven,
not here today.
Steven on drums, but he could not make it today due to work.
So it's just the three of you, yeah?
Yes, and we also have a dear friend of ours, Natalie, who's helping us with bass, playing live, and also recording, now and then. Yeah.
So what is the kind of music that you do? To be correct, how would you?
To be exact, you can just easily call this alternative metal.
Alternative metal.
Alternative metal. So metal historically would be, how would you explain that? What kind of bands? Like Metallica?
That would be the genre of metal that everybody is familiar to. I mean, this is not going out to the hardcore metal fans. We're talking about general term. You think of Metallica, obviously you think of metal straight.
AC/DC.
Right.
Yeah.
AC/DC.
Yeah, so for us, what happened was, I think this happened in early 90s, I guess, where kids just started mixing up their metal and started turning it into something else, and it just became alternative metal. So it's like a very... it's a softer version of it, so there's not much angst.
Okay.
It's controlled angst, if I would say, if I could say it like that. So
go into it further, the band actually started off being a grunge band at first.
All right.
Nirvana and stuff like that.
Yeah, back in 2004. So
that was like the humble beginnings.
Yep.
Then we realized, no, I think we need to play something heavy.
Okay.
Yeah,
so grunge is 90s. Now you're going forward to the
totally.
future or the present now.
So why did you guys choose alternative metal to focus on?
Well, for me in particular was because that's what I pretty much started listening to.
Okay.
Growing up in the 90s, I'm from that era, so I started listening up to bands like Korn and Deftones and all these kind of bands back in the days, and so I would my interest just kind of gravitated towards that.
Okay.
So when I started making my own songs, I realized that they were all quite
Metally.
similar to... Yeah, so we're like,
it's hard to play that 4-chord thing, and then the next thing you know, I need to drop the guitar down and play something heavy.
I'm quite curious why, how widespread the alternative metal is in terms of the region, the genre.
How big is it?
Yeah, how big it is.
Wow.
Because I think it's something new to us, and I think there's a lot of variety of metal genre.
There's too many.
It's a lot actually. Because when it comes to hard, it's actually more like hard alternative metal. That genre don't really have that many bands in Malaysia. In Malaysia, in Asian region, I would say not many. So
not many.
In that terms, we're a bit of a niche.
Yeah, we definitely a niche. I mean, or rather, we are not. We don't really keep up with the scene as much as we want to. So they definitely are bands out there who are making alternative music, alternative metal music, but we don't really know.
They don't have the avenue to show themselves.
Yeah.
But then again, now you have like Facebook, the band camps and all, Reverb Nation. Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect right now.
So tell us a little bit about your band. Where was it formed? When was it formed? And maybe the initial members.
Okay, well, I am from Labuan.
Okay.
So is my brother. Ran is my brother.
Oh, this is your brother.
Yeah, so it's my brother. So
Steven, your brother too?
No, he's not. He's just a guy.
Okay. Oh, well, you guys don't look alike. Well, I couldn't tell.
Yeah, something went wrong. I don't know.
Pretty separated.
So yeah, okay. So I'm from Labuan. I actually came to Kuala Lumpur in 2004. But my brother was actually in KL a year prior.
Okay.
So, he was started enrolling in college. I was still in high school. So when I came down here from Labuan, so I just had this wacky idea of, hey, you know what? We're in KL. Because we can't really do stuff like this back in Labuan back in the days. You don't have much, there's no scene and stuff like that. So it wasn't really my aim to even start a band. But, since we came here, then Ran was, telling me about all these local bands that are coming up in KL. So because
I also had an interest because I was already in a band.
Okay, so that was around what year?
2004.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So around that time. So when I came here and I was like, hey man, why don't you hook me up with some people so we can, start making music. So I kind of sparked that interest. So I was like, I want to be in a band and I want to play the guitar. So, can you help me find some people? So you helped me find some, you've helped me find a vocalist and stuff like that. Then after a while, I was jamming with that guy, trying to make music. And he was
started in my room.
Yeah, it was started in his room.
So not in your garage.
Yeah, so I was jamming it up with this guy, and my brother was just in the room, and since it was his room and he had a guitar, he's like, you know what? Let me just play a little bit over what you guys are playing, and then we were like, hey, no man, why don't you just join up?
Jamming right in my room. I was doing some college work that time.
Yes.
Okay, never mind.
So I just offered him. I said, hey man, why don't you just join our band as well? You can have two bands. So I guess it started from there.
Okay. Were you guys very musical from a very young age? Were you really into instruments?
Not really.
No.
Not really.
Okay.
Not really,
Our
actually.
first guitar was when we were like 15.
Oh.
That was like a a kapok guitar. I think locals would know.
Only after a year I realized it was not tuned at all.
Yeah, it wasn't tuned. We were just going for it, and I guess it's the type of bands that we started listening to that. They were playing easy music,
Okay.
and it was something that we could follow and play as well. So we found that very attractive about that genre, that we can also play it, and we can also then we figured out, hey, we can also write, and let's just go for it.
So what did you write about usually?
Oh, let me tell you something about metal music. So the thing about metal music is, Gowri, I think you have you were telling me about a few of the questions that were coming up. And one of them was like, the general consensus about metal being aggressive.
That's right.
Is that right? So actually, yes, that is a fact. It's a bunch of kids who have anger in them and they just want to express it in a positive way. So
that's how metal came about. It started off actually from punk. Punk rock was the first form of angry music.
Okay.
It was during the 60s, right?
Yeah.
Punk music.
I have no idea about the history, but
Historically, I'm a bit, off. But all I know is it started with punk rock. Punk rock was the original form of angry kids.
yeah.
And then there was this other bunch of kids thought like, let's make it more aggressive. Because punk rock still had a bit of a happy feel, but still angry. But they wanted to take it up a notch. So from there, it became angry. Because you gotta be a bit angry to play this kind of music.
Okay.
So go back to the lyrics. So most of the lyrics are angry.
No.
Lyrics,
A lot
is
of
it?
them are very
Smart
hopeful.
topics, actually.
I mean, like even for our album, it's like we try to. I tried to make it a bit more artistic and abstract. It's not all
He writes
about
most of the lyrics.
Okay.
so it's not really anger. You can talk about the core of your feelings and stuff that they can talk about social subjects, but it's rarely happy. That's one thing I'll just have to come clean and just step out and just represent metal and say, no, it's not going to be sweet.
More towards realization that this is life.
It's more about reality, I guess.
Yes, it's definitely reality.
It's not like Justin Bieber and
Yeah,
poppy
so-
sort of love.
You're not allowed
Story.
to say that in this room.
Yeah, so
In front of rocker.
yeah, so if anything,
It's far from it.
if anything, kids gravitated towards punk and metal because they didn't like what was going on the radio stations.
Rebellious.
The mainstream music.
Yes. Yeah. And at the same time, for some, I don't know how, but metal just kind of got accepted by mainstream, and we just got more chance of doing what we wanted to do. And more freedom.
So did you guys have any idols when you started playing, or people you wanted to be like?
Yes. I still do. I still try to act as some of the people that I idolize. But okay, for me, in personal preference, I have always been very closely interested in this band called the Deftones.
Okay.
Yeah, so I kind of just like their whole touch of how they approach their music. Their music, they were the first metal band that I knew that could talk about love as well. So there was, and the love that they spoke about was not like, your Taylor Swift or Justin Bieber. it was really, it was a very, I don't know, it's a very, the painful part of it.
Okay.
The very,
so there's many dimensions
yes,
of love that
right.
the dimension of love that they sang about, that was the one that attracted me the most. It wasn't like, hey, I'm not gonna call you again. It's not like that. It was more about the love
Sounds
at
like
first sight.
Yeah,
the
I
deeper
guess if you look at bands like Nirvana as well, some of the songs are about love, but it's like you said, not your typical cheesy love song. It's actually a deeper, a lot of different layers.
Exactly. So the Deftones. So my main influence for singing is also the singer Chino Marino, but I try not to say that because people tend to say I'm a copycat, especially on stage, the way I move as well. But I try to stay away. But I'll just be realistic and say yes, it's the Deftones. Bands like Korn, and also my all-time favorite band Tool. I'm not sure whether you guys know all these bands. I don't know.
I heard before Korn.
I know I look very soft and all, but I do love metal music, which is why I know about Nirvana.
I personally
and I love your album, by the way, which we'll talk about a bit later.
Thank you very much.
I actually have a question about the music industry, and global music industry. In the past, you see a lot of alternative band actually become mainstream in a sense that you have bands like Nirvana and Metallica and all that. But nowadays, it seems like a lot of these alternative bands just disappear from the mainstream industry, and even if they would usually be like very underground or unheard of. Why is that so?
I'm not sure if they disappeared. So like Nirvana, obviously we know their demise was because of Kurt Cobain's passing.
Yeah.
So then the the drummer left and formed Foo Fighters. Yeah, so all the bands that you have mentioned, a lot of them are still there.
They're still there, but the thing is, right now the perception is, it's a new age that we are in, and everybody will try to say that, oh, you're sounding too much like them, so you're like opposite straight away. But then, in your mind, you're thinking, no, this is my influence. Why are you saying I'm a poser? But unfortunately, some of them really sound identical to what they're trying to make. So that's I'm just talking in the Asian region part, not the Western part, because the entire Asian region basically looks up to the Western side anyway for influences like how we are. So
So it's interesting when you said all the metal bands and stuff like that, like Nirvana. They're not mainstream anymore. But the thing is, even the word mainstream, if you look at it, the minute you have made it big or you are in circulation in any form of media, that's actually theoretically mainstream. But some people, in local context, when they say mainstream, you must be like being played on hits all the time. So that's pop music. But mainstream could be...
Mainstreaming is basically being accepted by the general public.
And internationally so. By media. So that's pretty much mainstream. So all the bands probably, they're not under the pop radar. So probably you just don't know whether they're doing it. But they're all pretty much active right now. They're playing tours like more than any pop star there is. I guess.
I think even bands like Coldplay and Foster the People, they still don't want to be called mainstream, but the fact is they are, I think, because you're out there and everyone knows
And as a
you.
matter of fact, you can even be brave enough and call them pop, because pop is from the word popular.
Right.
So they are a pop band.
Music,
Thanks for clearing that up, because I was actually wondering, it was playing in my mind.
Yeah, it's actually pop, so...
So Pervin, I think you mentioned earlier that you write most of the lyrics on your album. So what usually inspires you? Where do you get your inspiration?
Human emotions, straight up.
Okay.
Yep, that's the only thing I can relate to. I try not to speak about stuff that I don't really know. But the interesting thing about this album is it was about the basic feelings that we normally get throughout the day. Throughout the day we have we have envy, we have jealousy, we have appreciation, we have hope. So I tried to cover all those kind of feelings in this album.
Okay.
And there are some songs, like this is one particular song, it's the last song of the album, it's called Peggy Lou Baldwin.
Very interesting.
Yeah, so actually I got the idea to write that song in 2007 when I was in the States. I was there for a few months visiting my dad. So I watched this movie called Sybil.
Okay.
Sybil was a movie. Yeah, it was a movie about a girl who had multiple personality disorders. So she had about, I think, 14 to 17 different personalities, split personalities. So all of these personalities were different. So I was like, hey man, this is a really interesting topic to speak about. So I just wrote this whole song about, So the song essentially is about a conversation between a shrink and this person who has multiple split personality. So the way I've spoken about it is like, people have mixed emotions throughout the day. A lot of people don't act like themselves when they're out. So they just kind of grab whatever personality is hip and they're never themselves. So I kind of speak about that kind of stuff a lot. Lyrically.
So it's like assuming different roles in society.
Yes, just to fit in. Yeah, so it's quite metaphoric. I would like to say that. Quite metaphoric.
So there's also this consensus about metal, how do I say it, condoning unhealthy behaviors and all that. What's your take on that?
No, that's rubbish.
Straight up.
That's rubbish.
Again, I would like to comment on that.
Yeah, sure.
See, it depends on the listener themselves. It's the human mind, how you accept this kind of music. Okay, some people will just listen to it and be pumped, and then okay, I'm ready to go to work. Some listen to it in the morning. I listen to heavy metal in the morning. It's fun. Some people listen to it and take it completely the other way. Like there's bands like Marilyn Manson. Some of his songs, some kids would listen to it, go get a gun, and go out killing people. So it's how you listen to it and how you perceive it. Metal music does not condone angry kids at all, or other stuff like drugs, sex, and all that. No, it's basically speak your mind, but think before you speak.
If anything, I think metal kind of promotes speaking your mind freely without the fear.
And that should actually be a good thing because you're actually letting it all out instead of all the pent up emotions.
Historically, it comes back to punk rock. Punk rock was freedom.
It's all about expression, isn't it?
It's all about expression.
Exactly.
It's all about expression.
It's not about trying to influence society to move towards a certain ideology or whatever.
No.
It's more like, this is the reality and expressing it. Yeah. It's not picture perfect and
it's like making a movie. Like, Quentin Tarantino gets a lot of flack about all his movies he makes.
Right.
And a lot of people asking the same question, do you condone violence? He said, no, it's an act. This is what a movie is supposed to be. You're supposed to sit down for 2 hours and enjoy this particular feeling towards the end, but we're not asking you to go watch.
He gets angry when someone asks. There's a few videos on him on YouTube get really going on.
Well, I guess sometimes you just want to present a slice of life to people, like show them this is what's going on, but then they're like, are you trying to condone it?
But then that's the thing. The unfortunate part is some religious group perceive like metal music, especially black metal. I mean, one of the cases where they perceive it as immoral, with music. Is sort of perpetuate teenagers to act immorally.
Okay. Yeah, I mean there are some metal bands, especially I think Scandinavian. I'm not if I can't be saying it. They take
Swedish, Norwegians.
Yeah, they take it a bit too extreme. They it makes a lifestyle. I mean, so
because a friend of mine once told me, I even asked him why they're like that. Say it's their lifestyle. It's cold all the time there. They drink vodka all the time there. What are you gonna do? It's really sad over there actually.
So it has a very gothic kind of feel. So they kind of live their music.
Yeah, it's basically a lifestyle. Black metal and all that. It's actually a lifestyle. Music comes second. It's actually more of a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Just that depends on the person.
So we are not in any way speaking on their behalf, obviously.
Quote us on this.
So I mean, metal to us is just even for us, we don't really dress like metalheads and so on, so we just like do whatever we want.
Yeah, I was actually gonna ask you about that too, but I think we'll take a short break first. We'll be back in a bit, and we have actually one of your song here, which is Cotton Candy by Infiltrate.
Thank you.
welcome back to Durian ASEAN. You're still with Gowri and Arlene on our ABC Dialogue. Today we have Infiltrate in the house.
What's up?
So for this second half now, I think we're going to talk more about your new album, Polysemy, which just came out like a week ago, I think.
No,
is that true? No?
It's about a month.
Oh, okay.
But a week
ago. The physical copy came out about a month ago.
Okay.
The digital copy came out about a week ago.
Okay, so why don't you tell us a little bit, a little background to the album, behind the name,
the music.
Alright, well, it started off as us just forming a band, and after 1-2 years we realized that we could actually write music on our own.
Okay.
And thought, okay, let's go ahead and think of an... First it was more towards EP.
Okay.
Like, let's just release like 3 tracks, and as time went by, we were like, okay, you know what, let's just increase the tracks. We're writing more songs and just pump it in. Actually, most of the songs we still have, they're not on the album yet. Yeah. Probably the second one.
Okay.
We were actually signed under an independent label, I think, in 2006.
Okay.
So we had like, I think, a 2-record deal with these guys. But so yeah, I mean, under that, we actually released about 3 singles back in the days.
Okay.
That was like circulated underground. This was when we were infiltrated.
Infiltrated.
So that well, nothing went forward with that label, because I think they were also very new, so they didn't really know how to promote and do it. So we were also new.
Yeah, it just didn't really fall through.
Yeah, so I think after that, I think about 2007 is when we as a band decided, okay, let's do it independent. Let's pay for a whole thing and have complete artistic.
This is around the time when we actually started working.
Yeah.
And earning our own cash. We were like, hey, we can actually fund this ourselves. Yeah. Although it will take a long time, but we can fund this ourselves.
So you did actually for this one.
It took us 7 years to write this.
That's the downside, lah.
Yeah, so there are songs in that album which are dated back to 2005.
Okay.
And there are songs that are dated back to 2012. So we have a good mix. Try to make it cohesive.
So what I mean, this whole process which took so long, in a way it benefited us because we grew as musicians.
Okay. And
you would hear our current influence is all progressive and stuff like hard alternative. Because initially we were grunge.
Yep.
So this is your second album, right?
First.
Actually, it's the first album.
Okay.
We released
but before that, you had something.
We released a few singles back then.
Okay. But this is like the first.
Yep, the first complete package.
Okay. Yeah, so what is like the theme of the album? The idea behind it? Is there?
The idea is, like I've mentioned earlier, lyrically, it's about different feelings you get throughout the day. Stuff that's really deep and on the surface as well. You know.
That's why the album is called Polysemy. Polysemy basically means one word meaning.
Can have multiple meanings.
Meanings.
What about the cover itself? Do you design it?
Yeah, what is this?
Does it have a meaning to it? It's because it's very unique.
That if you actually open it up, it turns into an actual artwork. The actual artwork.
Oh, the whole thing.
It's the other way.
We designed it in that way.
Oh, okay.
So you can open up, see that. Yeah.
Right.
So this, actually I was in charge of looking for an artist for this. So there's this website called DeviantArt. Yeah, over there a lot of these amateur artists would post about themselves.
So we actually got in contact with this artist from the UK. What's his name again?
Kieran Wakeman.
Okay. Yeah, so he's American. He's American. So we collaborated with him on this album. So we actually just told him that we want a piece where it revolves around this one guy.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you notice, this is the first track of the album is called John Doe. John Doe is speaking about a person who doesn't belong and stuff.
Okay.
Like that, so that person on that cover album is presumably John Doe. So we just.
So I'm also curious about your song titles, like the one you sent me, like Project Fingers, Cotton Candy. Yeah. Like you cannot really tell what the song is about from the title, actually. Yeah.
It's very abstract. Just like I said, it's kind of very indirect. You know, I can just easily name them, whatever it is. But I just tend to name them in a very in a different way as I see it. Like cotton candy, it actually means when you look at cotton candy, it's really big. It's like this big ball of colorfulness and stuff. But when you when you shrink it, it just becomes this little ball of. So basically, it's just spun sugar. So that's what I view pop music as.
Okay.
They look larger than life. But when you shrink it down, it's just like a little piece of sugar. That's all it is. So that's why I named the song Cotton Candy. So that's what the song is all about. There's no depth in a lot of things, a lot of music that's going on nowadays.
That's actually very deep. Yeah, I didn't know there was so much behind Cotton Candy.
Yeah, so that's the song. Yeah.
Okay, do you have a message that you want to get across with this album?
Well, for us, especially being in the scene since 2004 and just releasing something now, we had a lot of bands from our days that just didn't proceed.
Okay.
You know, when they started working and they got married. So for us, I think the only message to everyone else like out there is just do your thing, release it. You know, just try to push it. Like even for us, we're still struggling in terms of spreading the music around. But the message to listeners is if that's your passion, just go for it.
Yeah, just don't dilly-dally. You know, if you do that, you end up not doing anything.
Yeah, and
if you have the passion for the music, don't give it up. Because a lot of people around me have given it up.
Yeah, and for listeners, you know, I think this album can really relate to a lot of kids out there. So just to all the kids, you know, you're not alone. A lot of people feel the same way you do. So just take it easy and keep good company, and that's it.
So our intern here have a question.
Yeah.
He had to type it out.
He's a fan of
have a mic.
Sounds good.
He's a fan of yours, but he's actually asking about copyright issue, and also to what extent that do you think it affects up and coming artists like you guys? So I mean, copyrights issues and how it affects artists.
Okay.
Well, obviously you have to
you gotta trademark your stuff.
Yeah,
okay.
You have to
be signed, and because this album is actually our digital distribution is under this record label called Sub Records. Okay, so basically they have the copyright for digital distribution, but then we have our own physical distribution. It's called Infiltrate Music.
Yep.
So that's the copyright.
Okay.
It's very important for any band that's going to release stuff. You gotta put that P and C down there.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a long process. But in short, what we gotta say is, if you are putting out your music, you have to go through this process of actually copywriting your own music.
I
so
guess
that will affect
what
you.
he really meant is, I mean, piracy is a big issue.
Piracy.
Yeah, and as you know, I mean, there's a lot of campaign against piracy, especially among those big guns in the music industry. But what about like you guys? You know, you guys are in the alternative scene, which is not in the mainstream industry itself. How do you guys tackle the issue of piracy?
Okay, the whole piracy thing is, for me, it's a very tricky thing, because if you are being pirated, that means you are famous. So that kind of gives you the pressure.
Even pirates would look at something, if it's valuable, okay, we're going to pirate it.
Yeah, but at the same time, when you look into, you know, like for us, like say for instance, if someone's pirating our CD and it's or it's being sold for much cheaper, or if it's being given away, we kind of feel the pinch. Initially, we did not. We you know, we're all filthy downloaders at some point in our lives. But, you know, you don't really feel that. But when you actually take years and years, or, you know, you pay all this amount of cash and you know, you get your music just being set out for free, it kind of hurts. But I think, but for local, I mean, like all these metal bands, I don't think we have that much of an issue for copyright, because our stuff is not really in demand. So that's something that we least worry about.
And actually, you make, you make back your money through live performance, isn't it?
Yeah, even not that. I mean, it's more towards the CD sales. We can make back, and so whenever we go to shows, we just have a booth, our own booth, and we sell our CDs there. And online, like since I think about a week ago, we released our album on iTunes and on Amazon, and it's also on Deezer, Spotify, and a whole bunch of sites. So each time you go and click it, like say for instance you're on Spotify, and if you click any of our songs, you listen to it, we kind of get, you know, something out of it. So.
But just to further note that question, it does hurt the artist a lot.
Definitely.
Because you see, first thing we mentioned that this is all self-funded. It is all my cash, his cash, our drummer's cash. So if you pirate this, you are negative our hard work, you see.
Yeah. So
okay, we started this not expecting much, but if there is, we can get something back. Why not, right?
Yeah.
So basically, it's like you're taking your hand and putting it into my pocket.
Yeah.
And just taking my cash without me knowing, without our consent.
We wish we could just give it off for free at any point, but the thing is, we also have put our, you know, time. And
but the album is really good. I think you guys should just quit whatever day jobs that you have and just focus on music.
That's the question that I'm interested to know as well. Like, is the alternative music scene in Malaysia sustainable to artists like you guys? I mean, do you have to have a day job to survive?
A day job is extremely necessary.
Okay.
It's not only for hard alternative or metal, rock. Everybody will have a day job because not everybody is from Wings.
Oh, Siti Nurhaliza.
I like how he got really serious. Like,
yes,
it's necessary.
It's really necessary. I mean, like even so, even a lot of bands, what they're doing now is they're doing a very interesting thing. What they do is they have a band, and at the same time they also have this record label that they call, like, say for example, Infiltrate Records. So what they do is they organize their own shows. And they also record other artists. So at the same time, they're also making money out of organizing. So all these bands that are out there, they're actually having they do have their own day job as well. So if they're lucky, they get a day job that's very much connected to their music. But unfortunately for me, and like for me, my day job is I am the head of operations for a conference company. You know, we organize conferences internationally and locally. So it has nothing to do with music. And you,
I'm actually a senior analyst at Standard Chartered Bank.
Yeah, so
totally different.
I'm a banker.
Right.
Yeah, so I wish I was into you know, something like local shows organizing, so, but you know, that would have helped. But yeah.
And
so
Stephen, you said is a personal instructor.
Yeah,
okay.
Fitness instructor. So he pretty much services a lot of artists as well, a lot of media personalities. So he's doing his own thing.
All right.
So that's quite
so I really want to know what were like probably the major challenges that you faced while trying to make this album. And that,
it took you 7 years, right?
Yeah, time was one because we all had 9 to 5.
Mutual understanding was one of it.
Okay.
Mutual understanding, and
I wanted this. Wanted
right.
No, I want this part. No, I want that part. So it's all that, you know, everything, and then obviously the work hours.
Yeah, and this is something that a lot of people can learn. The reason why we took this long is also, you know, the word tomorrow. The word tomorrow is just a big sin in anything you do. So if you're doing something, just do not assume you have tomorrow. If you're going to do it, just do it today.
Mine can do
tomorrow,
later. Can do tomorrow.
So
can do Saturday.
So that was our challenge, just to get it all together. And it's not a walk in the park. You know, you have to think about packaging it. So once we finish recording it, how do we package it? Who do we call? How do we promote this? So those were the challenges. And now we are still challenging. We're facing challenges in terms of how we are going to promote it locally.
Okay.
We're trying our best to get more shows. You know, we're trying our best to fit in a particular scene.
Okay.
Yeah, so the scene is different from how we started many years ago. So
especially for our kind of music, we're still figuring out. Okay, where do we belong? With the metalcore kids, or
the indie kids? So we're trying to find our own niche, but hopefully the scene is helpful again to us, like how they were back in 2005.
Okay.
So we can just
there is a huge camaraderie amongst underground bands. So.
Yeah, hopefully.
I think the future is pretty bright.
Yeah, it's definitely bright. Yeah.
So, apart from iTunes, Amazon, and all, do you have any other plans to market your album?
Yeah, we're planning to get it on a few local stores like Rock Corner.
Okay.
And a few.
That's in the process.
That's definitely that's already been worked out. So you'll be able to grab it in, if not all, a few branches of Rock Corner.
Okay.
And also a few independent record stores around the Klang Valley. But we're also trying to get it out in different states like Penang.
Okay.
So if you're there, you can get your hands on our CD in any particular store. So we're trying to go towards that.
If you want to get it, you can always contact the Facebook page.
Yeah, we can just mail it.
What
to
about
you.
outside of Malaysia?
Outside of Malaysia, I guess the biggest thing we did so far was the whole iTunes thing. So you can be anywhere around the world and just purchase the thing. Yeah, but if you still want it physically, you can still contact the band and we can just mail it to you.
Okay.
So far,
the Asian region still loves physical copies.
That's right, actually.
Yeah.
Loves physical copies. I mean, I still have friends saying, I told them, just get it from iTunes. No, I want the physical copy.
Yeah, so.
Well, sometimes it's also like a collector's thing, you know, especially when you like a certain band, you just want to have all the CDs with you.
Exactly.
So we have a lot of people asking us, you know, can you just mail it to us? So yeah, we're kind of figuring out a method to do that.
But like I said, it's still new.
It's brand new.
And we're still learning how to spread it, basically.
So you guys perform in like rock concerts or festivals, right?
Not recently, because I think for the past 2 years we were just busy trying to get that thing out.
Okay.
That was another thing, our live performances suffered because we had to complete this because it was getting in the way. See, the live performances were getting in the way of the recording process, so we thought, okay, you know what, let's just stop this, focus on this, and get it done with.
So you go to work, and on the weekend you just continue writing and do it. So I think recently now we're just getting our foot back into the whole gigging scene. So I think we have Fête de la Musique coming up. It's French music festival.
Confirmation on that, but it's on the 21st of June.
Yeah, so I'm not sure where the venue is, but I think you can find out on our Facebook. So we're just trying to get more shows this time around.
Because most of the time, all our updates are through Facebook.
Okay.
Infiltrate Band. Facebook Infiltrate Band. So
that's it. That's about it.
Do you have a specific target audience that you're aiming
kids.
for?
Young
Kids.
Kids. Confused kids. Happy kids. Sad kids.
But how has the reception been so far since you came out with the album?
It's been pretty good, actually.
Yeah?
Pretty okay. Yeah, it's
pretty good.
Pretty good. I mean,
I had a lot of calls congratulating me, and everybody was asking for it.
It was more towards making a statement at this point. It was not because a lot of bands from back then and a lot of people don't really know we exist. So for us to take this thing out and get back under the radar, that was a good piece of accomplishment for us. So now the next moving forward would be to get under the radar of the people. So hopefully they can receive it well as well.
So about the metal music scene in Malaysia, what are other notable Malaysian metal bands around?
Wow, there are many. I mean, like for me, my personal favorite, all-time favorite would be this band called Love Me Butch.
Oh yeah,
my favorite
as well.
Love Me Butch, they're very legendary actually.
Yeah.
Then you have bands like Metal Asia.
Yeah. Then you have newer bands like you have Massacre Conspiracy.
Yeah, those guys are pretty big.
Yeah, I mean I heard they're good.
Okay.
I mean you have another one, Ochentaku. They're playing a bit more rock. So all these bands, if you really go onto their social web and stuff like that, you'll realize how established they are as a local. But you have like bands like Bunkface. Yep. These guys have like 1.4 million likes on their Facebook.
Right.
So these kind of things count.
To be honest, in the past 3-4 years, the underground scene has
really flourished.
It's actually surfacing.
Definitely. Yeah.
I don't really foresee any more underground stuff in the next 10 years. It'll be all right. There's a lot of avenues for you, like Nation,
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, in my younger days in the 90s, is Butterfinger.
Yeah,
the only notable one that I know.
Yeah, they were playing grunge.
They were like fantastic.
Yeah,
fantastic
so many good bands out there. Deja Voodoo Spells, They Will Kill Us All. That's another very good band.
Yeah, that band is really good.
Yeah, so many, and I just hope people can just log on and just check out more local music. And there's more festivals. I think every other weekend there's a festival, but people just don't know about it yet. Yeah.
Underground gigs too. So.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite song from the album? Each of you?
I personally, have my favorite song is actually Peggy Lou Baldwin.
Okay.
Yeah, because I kind of wrote the music for it.
Is that why? That's the only reason.
No, but you pretty much wrote the whole. I mean, like we both kind of wrote the whole thing.
Yeah, it was a collaboration, but it really portrays what the band is about.
Okay.
Multiple personalities disorder. As scary as it sounds, but yeah, that's like
Day
my
job
favorite
and
song.
analyst, and then night job, a rock star.
Yeah, that's
It's
cool.
a goofy analysis at night, during the day.
I mean, my favorite would be Cotton Candy.
Okay.
Because the reason is that song is not conventional at all. If you notice, there's no chorus, there's no verse. It's just one single piece, starts differently, ends differently. So our newer tracks that we are working on now, that's not in the album, they all gravitate towards that mood.
Okay.
So we don't have any song structure. It can start off with a thing that sounds like chorus, and then
That's
it can
the beauty about progressive music.
and it can end to a piece that sounds like an intro, but it's not. So it's just amazing. You can just experiment. That's the beauty about being independent as well. So you can just create whatever you want. So that's why I like that song a lot.
So have you already started working on for materials for your next album?
Well, we jam them out a lot in the studio.
Yeah.
When our studio sessions, and we just keep playing them till we get tight. So we're probably gonna showcase them in our upcoming shows, but I think we're strictly gonna focus more on the album. But when we have some sort of a period where we can actually put in newer songs, we would. But recording wise, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Recording not yet, yeah.
But we're definitely not going to take 7 years to
come up with the next album.
Because we know what it takes.
We know the flow.
Okay.
We know the flow, so it would be a shorter period this time, hopefully.
All right. So you said earlier that writing a song in the unconventional method is one of the advantage of being an independent band. So what are other benefits that maybe you enjoy from being independent and not attached to a big company?
I would like to say this is actually the negative and the positive part.
Okay.
Time constraint.
Right. Okay.
Because when you're tied to a label, right, they will tell you, okay, boys, you need to release this in the next 6 months.
All right.
So pressure.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure the first 3 months you don't even know what to write. Due to the severe pressure, because if you don't deliver on time, they will fine you.
All right.
So the benefit of being unsigned is you get the time and the creative freedom to write anything you want.
But then it takes 7 years.
That's another thing. No, that's another thing. Yeah,
that's another thing.
That's why I said it was a positive and
Right.
negative.
The record label kind of gives you discipline.
Okay.
Because they mean business. It's all, there's a lot of commerce involved in being in a label.
Okay.
But if you're independent, it's like, you don't have parents. Like, like you're at home, you have like this parent figure, so you have to answer to them. So being independent, you don't have to answer to anyone. It's just you. So if anything happens, it's purely you. It's like the Lost Boys from Peter Pan. Or they're not being supervised by anyone. They can do whatever they want the whole day and go to sleep anytime they want. So it's pretty much like that. But if you do have a label that understands your vision and kind of gives you that time frame to do your work, many periods in our production, we actually gave ourselves time period.
Okay.
By this month, we have to finish it. But since we were giving ourselves the time frame, we didn't follow it.
There's always adding.
It's easy to break the rules when you make the rules.
That's definitely there. So it's pros and cons.
But
definitely.
do you have a manager, like someone?
We were toying with the idea for a while, but the manager would be more towards like show bookings and stuff like that, promoting or stuff. So we're actually still kind of looking into that. Yeah.
Okay, so before we wrap things up, why should people buy your album?
It's the best.
It's local. It has quality. I mean, I hope so. It has the international kind of standard to music, and it is local. That's the best part. It's a bunch of guys who live down your street, and they're making music that sounds okay. And I think
I think it was pretty awesome. You don't have to be so humble.
Personally, I think it's great for Malaysians to support local bands.
Exactly.
Especially alternative bands like you guys.
Definitely, yeah. I mean,
a lot of people should, because I believe that we make music quality same as the Western countries. So
Americans love their own music, so why can't we?
They love their own music,
Yeah,
that's true.
So why don't Malaysians love their own Malaysian bands?
Yeah, and the other reason why people should get this album, because it's very current.
Okay.
It's not like something, a lot of bands that tend to make albums from the 80s, to bring back an old mood. But for us, it's pretty fresh, and it has this really spacey kind of feel to it. So it's kind of like nighttime music as well, So it depends on how you look at it. So it's fresh.
A lot of moods.
Very moody. It's very moody.
Album.
It's not dry. It's very organic. So I think people should get it.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us today,
Thank
Pervin
you
and Ran. Yeah, we had a great chat, and your album Polysemy is out now and is available on iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, and you can also get a physical copy from your Facebook page.
Yep.
Right?
Just contact us on Facebook. That would be Facebook/Infiltrate Band.
Yeah, and you can also follow us on Twitter.
Okay.
Twitter/Infiltrate. No, Infiltrate_band.
Okay.
Yeah, just type that out. You can just find it.
Instagram as well.
Instagram. So just go anywhere and just type out Infiltrate Band. So you'll find us somehow.
Okay. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.